Clown in a Cornfield is the latest killer clown themed horror movie to hit the big screen. Based on a book of the same name, we follow Quinn, who moves into a small farm town. And this specific town has had it kind of rough when the factory responsible for most of the town's economy burned down. A killer clown will emerge seeking revenge for those responsible for the fire. And that's all pretty much. Like any spoilers to you guys, this will be a spoiler-free review. I thought it appropriate to bust out my popcorn buckets of a couple of killer clowns since this is a movie about a killer clown. But I do still think it's such a shame they never made a jerker popcorn bucket. Oh, you don't know who the jerker clown is? The jerker. Oh, my special power? I have a pair of dice, and with this dice, I determine your faith. Oh, do not get trapped by the jerker. You don't want to catch him on a bad night. That's one devious fool I wouldn't want to be around. But no, with Clown in a Cornfield, this is a movie I got really excited about whenever they announced it because I'm someone that actually picked up the book. Written by Adam Caesar, this came out around the time of the pandemic, and I just saw a TikTok talking about it, and honestly, just looking at the book cover itself, this red clown in a cornfield, it seemed like something I'd enjoy, and lo and behold, I did enjoy this. Then they announced Eli Craig would be the director. He made Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, a pretty underrated horror comedy I highly recommend to you. The only thing that was kind of worrying me and making me think this wouldn't work is the fact it was a killer clown movie. That's a pretty crowded space now. I mean, Pennywise right now holds the title for horror movie that has earned the most money. And then you have the legend Art the Clown, who went from indie film to mainstream stardom. Between these two guys, I think it's kind of hard to stand out as another killer clown in the bunch. But I went in, knew what I was getting myself into, and I think they managed to find their own unique path. I'm gonna get into good and then I'm gonna get into the bad, but starting off with the things I did enjoy is I like the approach the movie took. For the first 20 or 15 minutes of this movie, I can see a lot of people possibly checking out. Like if this released on streaming first, which it is being picked up by Shudder, so it'll eventually end up on that great horror streaming service, I could see people turning it off 15-20 minutes in because it ends up feeling like one of the most generic been there done that slasher movies with a guy who's just dressed up like a clown. You have characters with very little development. You get a couple of bloody kills, but none of them really stand out with other things we've seen. And I'll even admit there were times where the humor felt slightly mixed to me. Some stuff was really funny and landing with my audience, and there were other jokes where it felt forced and the theater was quiet when that was a clear joke made on screen. But if you power through that, you'll actually see the movie was kind of purposely leaning the audience one way so that they could really surprise and subvert them halfway through the movie. I've seen some people call it a twist. I don't know if I'd really call it a twist. I'd say it's more of a reveal, and it's a thing in the book that does make it stand out and made me curious how they would portray it on screen. And it's so funny that once the movie finally reveals what's actually going on, what's happening in this town, that it really starts to build its own identity and feel unique within the killer clown space. So I did find it kind of smart for the movie to be like, you thought this was just going to be an average little basic killer clown movie. Nah, we got a little bit more tricks than that. And it was even in these moments that characters that once felt very one-dimensional started revealing more about them, and they actually felt like they were offering something in the movie. I also feel like the movie has a very timely theme that ties together the reveal of who's behind the mask of Frendo. I would love to get into more specifics on this theme, but I think even mentioning what the theme is would maybe give away what makes this movie so fun. But that theme in itself, like, it's all over. It's very present. So it really is just that. It's a movie that could have easily have been one of the most boring, disappointing clown movies. My biggest fear is that maybe they would just try to throw in some Art the Clownisms or Pennywise things, but the film ended up staying true to what made itself unique and stand out from these guys. If I had to be honest about some of the things I thought did hold the movie back, I was kind of a little disappointed by a lot of the kills in the movie. Not to say they were bad. Some of them are pretty gory, but I was just hoping for a little bit more creativity with them. I also think there's a double-edged sword with giving Frendo this reveal in the movie where I think when you have a killer clown in your film, a big thing that makes a clown scary is their goofy personality, right? I mean, that's why we kind of love Art and we like Pennywise. They're trying to hurt us, but they're also clowns, so they get a little funny and they have little quirks and stuff. I think this is one of the few times that once it's revealed who Frendo is, he kind of loses that humorous clown personality, and all the things that make a killer clown scary kind of go away, but they are replaced with other things that now make Frendo scary. I hope that makes sense. I'm really trying to dance around it. I hate to be that annoying guy, but since I did read the book, there is a part of me that I guess didn't love the movie as much. I still liked it and enjoyed it. There's a lot better fleshing out, a lot more setting up in the world, and the way the movie decides to pace some of those events feel like it doesn't leave such a big impact like it could have. And even for the people who aren't gonna like where the movie takes its turn halfway through, you'll be able to poke some holes at it and think it's a little ridiculous or it doesn't make all that much sense. There is for sure that aspect of the movie, but I was just again so happy to get something unique and different in the killer clown space that I was just rolling along with it. Still though, all in all though, very enjoyable time. I think it's a unique enough killer clown movie where it does something different than what you expect. If I'm gonna be honest and say that, oh, this is definitely the next killer clown franchise, we're gonna get multiple sequels just like we have multiple books in the franchise, we'll see. If this ends up just being a one and done, I'll still be pleasantly happy with it, but the potential is there, and if they do decide to continue on with the sequels, well then, Frendo still has some pretty big clown shoes to fill. So when it comes to Clown in a Cornfield, I'm gonna give action 3 stars. There are plenty of deaths in the movie. I do just wish, like I said, a lot more of the deaths were more creative. Comedy in the movie, this is gonna be a little tough. I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. I do think there is a lot of funny jokes, and this director brings in his humor from Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which I think the humor in there worked a lot better, but there were several times where a handful of jokes just didn't land, but the ones that did really hit. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. I think this movie is really saved by its reveal halfway through. If that didn't exist in the movie or they botched that, you would see a lot less people enthused or even wanting to recommend this movie. Heart in the movie, I'll give 2.5 stars to. I think that's also kind of one of the negatives. Because the characters were set up to be one-dimensional, there really wasn't that sense of dread or fear throughout it. I was mainly just excited to see Frendo pop up next and how he was going to kill somebody. And suspense the movie, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I think you're a little disinterested in the beginning, but once things start going halfway through, you do get invested and really want to know what is happening. Casual moviegoers, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B-. And critically, I'm going to give it a B-. I think Clown in a Cornfield is a pretty unique and refreshing take on a killer clown story that could be enjoyed in theaters. Again, that's just my opinion on the movie, guys. I'm very curious to see what you thought about Clown in a Cornfield. I think there is a way somebody could predict what the reveal is. If you're really paying attention to what certain characters say in the movie, they kind of really spell it out for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.